All right, guys, welcome back to class. It's been a long time that we actually had this our session, and I'm here now to give you nothing but the best as usual. Now, practically, what we want to do today is meant to be, we will be dealing with 5 series of this particular video. Yes, five series, because I actually want to take you guys so deep into the market so that you guys can understand better your technical analysis. However, if you are new to the channel, ensure that you start from the 2024 free mentorship playlist. Okay, so that is the first thing you want to start from so that you can follow up. But apart from that, we have 5 series of this particular video, and this video that you guys are watching now is meant to be like the fourth video. But however, I'm making it to be the first video, because I actually want to start backward so as to bring much meaning to whatever it is that is to be done. All right. So I want to start from here because I've already, hinted about what I want to teach today. I've taught the part 1 of this. What I want to teach today is actually, exhaustion imbalance zone, more on exhaustion imbalance zone and momentum imbalance zone. The part 1 of it will be linked in the description below. All right, it will be linked in the description. But for this particular one, I want to go deeply into the importance of these two and how these two actually work together to ensure you have nothing but the best and for better accuracy in the market. Okay. Now, for this particular series, like I said, it is meant to be the 4th video, but I will make it the first video because I want to start backward. This will be more about, understanding your premium and discount liquidity. Okay. You will get to understand your premium discount liquidity, their relationship, how they help in your reversal trade and also in your continuation trade. So that's practically what I will be doing today. So I want you guys to follow through because it will be an amazing session. Like I said, this will be 5 series and this is the first of the series. So ensure that you follow through. All right, without further ado, let's dive into it. Now, I will majorly just be discussing the relationship because this is what can launch the series into something that you get to derive major meaning from and to actually understand everything that we practically will be doing in the other 4 videos that will come after this. All right. So I want to make this one the first video for better understanding and for better comprehension. What we are dealing with is exhaustion, imbalance, and momentum imbalance, We will now be talking about their zones, but however, we want to see how each of these link to what we call the so-called premium and discount liquidity. Like I said, you might not really have much understanding of what I'm doing in this particular video, but just notice study is because it will be more of theories. All right, this particular video is theories. So just study it, try to understand where I'm coming from so that when I dive deeply in the other 4 videos, you will get to actually relate and understand perfectly. I believe this should be the first video and you will agree with me by the time we are done with this session and we are done with the other 4 videos. Okay, so here we have exhaustion imbalance and momentum imbalance zones, and we are interested in how they relate to premium and discount liquidity. All right, now, without further ado, let's dive into it. I've already spoken about exhaustion imbalance and momentum imbalance. Like I said, the video will be linked in the description below. All right, but however, I'm not interested in talking majorly about them in terms of their structure. No, that's not what I'm interested in this video. I told you this video will be theory-based as related to exhaustion imbalance zone. For the practical or how they even look like, even if you do not watch the video that will be linked in this description where I already spoke about exhaustion imbalance and momentum imbalance, you will still be able to relate because I will still deal majorly about their structures in the 4 other videos. But for this particular video, I just want us all to understand the theories of how your buy and your sell that is happening simultaneously, that is that pullback in line with the major trend, how they actually relate. All right, the relationship between them, so that we can have an understanding of what we'll be doing in the other 4 videos. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Now, pretty much, let's see. Like I said, I won't be talking about, if you want to at least have an idea of what exhaustion imbalance and momentum imbalance, what they look like in terms of structure, you can watch the video in the description, but I won't be talking about that. I'm much more interested in what they are used for, their uses, and how they are related to the premium and discount liquidities. All right. Now, anytime you hear exhaustion imbalance, what should come to your mind is that exhaustion imbalance is what is used for any form of reversal. Any form of reversal, no matter how small. Reversal trades, all your reversal trades are based on exhaustion imbalance. This is what cause. This is the cause that gives this effect of any reversal. Either it is a short-term reversal that is something like this. Let's say I have this. All right, so let's say I have something like this, whereby price now pull back, take out this particular high as liquidity, and then continue. This short reversal that you see from here to here is caused by this particular exhaustion imbalance. So exhaustion imbalance, anything as regards reversal trades, that is the cause. The cause is exhaustion imbalance. Okay. Now, anytime you now hear momentum imbalance, what should come to your mind is continuation. From this same example that I marked, this sell trend, which is this sell trend that happens here from this high, this low, lower high, lower low, then we have this pullback that takes out liquidity, and then price continue. Before this can continue, it must have tapped a momentum imbalance zone. Very important. It must have, before price can form a new low, a momentum imbalance is involved to continue a sell trend. Or before this pullback that happens here, for this buy to happen, or for price to continue in this particular direction, a momentum imbalance zone must have been involved. So any continuation of trend is related to momentum imbalance. It is related to momentum imbalance, all right? That is very important, okay? Now, that is that. The next thing I want to quickly talk about, all right? I don't need to cancel this because I might need it later, so I will just keep swiping it in. So the next thing I'm interested in talking about is now premium and discounts. I know almost all traders are used to this, but that is not what I'm interested in. There is a point I'm trying to get to. Premium and discount liquidities. Okay, if we have this, we have a structure like this, we say that this particular high is the least premium. Least premium, okay, less premium, and we can call this premium or most premium, okay? So we can just call this the premium. So let's assume that each of these I are true liquidities. And when I mean true liquidities, I mean true liquidity. If you've been following my concept, you know that I don't just use my highs to give liquidities. There are relationships. For a liquidity to be formed at your passive, you must have had either buyer here or seller here, or seller at here at this low, and buyer at this particular and buyer at this particular range here. That is, must be opposite participant before you can call a high or a low liquidity. Once again, I said You can start from the free 2024 mentorship videos in order to understand all of that. But this video in itself is understandable, all right? There is nothing complicated. All I am interested in is that let's assume each of these is truly liquidity. Each of them is truly liquidity. Now, we say that this is premium, that is the first major true liquidity that is formed around that sell that is happening. Less premium, least premium, okay? Now, for a buy scenario as well, okay? So the major point I want to, I believe that that's will be kind of different. So I don't know which one is correct out of the two. But the major thing here is that the most discounted liquidity is this guy here. Most discounted. So maybe more discounts. Maybe more discounts. Maybe less discounts. I really can't wrap my head around the adjective or whatever to use to quantify each of those. But of course, you understand the gist. The gist here is that this is the lowest of these particular three liquidities. This, and then before we move to this particular one right here. All right. One of the series will still talk more on liquidity, but why do we actually need this? Now, EIZ, I have told you, EIZ, exhaustion imbalance zone, is to get reversal on any of this liquidity. So let's say, for example, the dominant participants that form this particular high here is, say, daily participants. This one could even be sessional. This one also can be daily again. Okay, now let me give a more practical example so that I can align everything that I want to say, because I don't want the video to be too long. Okay, now here, let me bring back this. So let's say this right here is daily liquidity, meaning that 2 different days maybe from this particular range. So this is daily liquidity. This could even be sessional liquidities. Yes, very possible. It is not about because it is session, make it less of value. No, that is not how it works. And this could be weekly liquidity. Like I said, you don't need to know yet how we are able to get all of this. But if you are curious, remember to refer to the free 2024 mentorship playlist. So we have the daily, sessional liquidity, then weekly liquidity. So say, for example, around this buy trend, which we have, let's say we have somewhere around there, we now have a valid sessional EIZ, valid sessional zone, valid in the sense that it is valid to sponsor a reversal. Remember, session EIZ, exhaustion imbalance zone, are majorly to sponsor reversal trade. So let's say this is a valid sessional EIZ. This guy here is less premium compared to this, which means that this is controls whatever happens from this range to this. Therefore, irrespective of the fact that this right here is a daily liquidity, this sessional zone will sponsor price up to here because it is the one controlling. It was formed first. It is a parent high compared to the daily liquidity. While the grandfather or grandmother or the grand of all of them here is the weekly, which means that for the total reversal to happen, a weekly EIZ has to be met. But the fact that this sessional was formed before this, if a sessional zone is seen here, it will sponsor this move without price needing to get to a daily EIZ. Let's say that one is still lower somewhere around there, and price will raid all of that, reverse. So a sessional EIZ is exactly like that. So price met a valid sessional EIZ, sponsor the move to take out that, and then price will continue its what? Its bearishness, in as much it has not gotten to the premium or the most premium liquidity area. And that is the point we are trying to get to when we want to talk about the relationship of exhaustion imbalance and what? And momentum imbalance in line with premium and discount liquidity. Don't forget, that is our major goal. All right. Now, this is the ideal thing. A random EIZ can easily sponsor this. Okay. A random EIZ can easily sponsor that particular thing as more it is valid to take out a liquidity for a short-term reversal on this sell trend, reversing towards this particular liquidity here, then before continuation. But however, let's look at a certain scenario to tidy up all we have been saying. An MIZ is a defense. An MIZ is a defense. That is, when there is a trend, a momentum imbalance zone is what defends that trend. It is the one that price will keep mitigating before price can continue in the direction of that particular trend. That is the work of an MIZ. It is a defense. If an MIZ is therefore a defense, it means that before any continuation can happen, an MIZ has to be tapped. Now, what is the importance of this? Before we go there, how do we even know the MIZ to pick at every point in time? Which time frame MIZ am I to pick? What nature is my MIZ? All of that will be answered in the next 4 videos. But the major thing we want to do here first is what controls an MIZ? What forms an MIZ? The first liquidity that is formed. In a buy trend, let's say the first most discounted liquidity or least discount liquidity or whatever English it is, that is on there. That first liquidity, true liquidity now, its nature, it might even be sessional. It can be weekly. It can be monthly liquidity. It can be yearly liquidity. Okay, the nature of this particular liquidity here, let's say in this case now is a daily liquidity. It means that for every pullback that you see, such pullback must come into a valid daily MIZ. Very important. If price has not gotten to the next available valid daily MIZ, continuation cannot happen yet. It is not possible. A momentum. So, the most discounted liquidity here determines the MIZ we are looking for. It's the one that creates the defense. It is like the king. It is the one that first dominates that particular trend. All right. Just like the first person that builds a house in a certain street, most times, especially in Nigeria, that street is named after such particular person. So if Andre is the first person that builds a house in a certain street, then they can start calling that street Andre Street. That's how it works most times. All right, especially here in Nigeria. Same thing here. This is actually the truth. The first liquidity that is formed is the one that creates the defense. Is the one that gives us the nature of the MIZ that will keep picking for every continuation. No matter how shallow the pullback is or how deep the pullback wants to be, it's all dependent on this MIZ. All right. Even for your pullback that might want to happen, let's say during my pullback now, a sessional liquidity is the most premium here. In as much price still want to sell more, that is, price is not ready to reverse totally. A sessional MIZ is what will keep defending that sell trend. Sessional MIZ is what will keep defending that particular trend. Is to keep defending it. Okay. Now, however, something is important here, which is where we'll close for this particular video. How then is an MIZ and an EIZ, how are they related? So let's say we have this high here to be sessional liquidity, this particular high right here to also be sessional liquidity. And the next daily MIZ we have is somewhere around here. Daily MIZ, that is, do not forget, what's the importance of the daily MIZ? It is the one that will keep pushing. It is the one that will keep the continuation. It is the difference. Now, here, let's say I have a sessional EIZ right here. Remember that is for reversal. This sessional EIZ is not found within my daily MIZ. My less premium liquidity here is a sessional liquidity. My most premium liquidity here is also a sessional liquidity. But this exhaustion imbalance zone, the first one that is encountered here, can only take out this less premium liquidity. Why is that? For every continuation, there is a reversal. For every continuation, there is a reversal. What does that even mean? A continuation of buy, we are looking for buys to continue, means a reversal on the pullback, which is a sell trend. So for every continuation, there is a reversal on the pullback trend. For buyers to continue, sellers' trend has to end. Okay, which means the ideal thing there is that the only place where this continuation can happen or where the most premium liquidity can be taken is within the daily MIZ. That is the sessional EIZ that will cause price to take out the most premium liquidity, and not just that, and also continue the trend by creating a higher high, in as much you know that price is to continue bullish. Such EIZ, sessional EIZ now, because the most premium liquidity here is what? Is a sessional liquidity. The most discounted liquidity here is daily liquidity. So that determines our momentum imbalance zone, the defense of the buy trend. The reversal, what determines the reversal of the sell trend is sessional, because it is the most premium. It is the owner of the street, just like the example I just used. So it has to be the EIZ of that sessional liquidity as related to it, that is a sessional EIZ that is found, that is nested, that is found within the defense, which is a daily MIZ, is the one that can cause the reversal. So this other one can only cause the reversal to take out less what? Less premium liquidity. Okay? So that is what it can take out. And that is that. This is their relationship. So a situation whereby we have your EIZ that will cause a reversal. For every continuation, there is a reversal found within the continuation zone, which is the MIZ zone, is what can sponsor our continuation. This is the relationship between your MIZ and your EIZ. And of course, if you enjoy this, ensure that you subscribe, you share, you like, you comment, in order to actually help the algorithm to take this value far. And I'll see you guys in the next 4 videos. And as well, as always, I will see you on the profitable side.